it's me, Jessica Bieber. Today I thought I would do a pretty simple video, so sorry if you guys are expecting something super complicated. I have found a pretty good tier maker list here, and I thought I would rank K-pop girl groups and female artists on purely their discography, because I think if I did it based on MVs and like how much I like the girls, it would be like, I don't know, my brain just wouldn't be able to process it all at once. So I'm just looking at this as a, musical kind of thing rather than an entire group of people, if that makes sense. I don't know if it does, but you guys get where I'm going. We're only looking at the music. So I've organized it into love, like, indifferent, not a fan, or don't know. I'm just gonna go off of the order that it's organized in on the bottom here. So let's get into it. Hi guys, this is just a quick editing note, but for some reason while I was recording, some of the audio turned a bit glitchy and I tried my best to edit it out, but there are some parts where I just had to leave in because the sentence wouldn't make sense without it, but it's still pretty audible and able to understand. But I just wanted to apologize for that annoying issue. It's only a few times throughout the video, but regardless, it's a bit irritating, so I'm sorry about that. So the first group is Saturday, and I actually like most of Saturday's songs. I didn't like their most recent one that I can't remember the name of now, but overall I like their music. I don't love it, but I think their music is fun to listen to and I can, bop to it. The next group is Niziu, Nizayu. Sorry, you can correct me in the comments, feel free. I haven't actually heard any of their songs yet, but I am aware they're the J-pop group under JYP, right? So, I don't know, I don't really listen to J-pop, so I never thought to listen to them, but if y'all want to recommend me some songs in the comments, feel free. But for now, I'm putting them in don't know. Next up is the gorgeous Sunmi, and I like nearly all of her songs, so I will put her in light. Cherry Bullet, and honestly, I'm a bit indifferent towards Cherry Bullet's music, aside from a couple of songs. I really loved their debut and Hands Up, but aside from that, I don't know. I don't really care that much for their music. So I'm sorry, Cherry Bullet, you are going in indifferent, but you never know. That might change. Next up is GWSN, and I don't know whether I want to put this in like or indifferent, because it's a bit of a 50-50, so it could go either way, but since I don't want to be negative, I guess I'll put them in like for now, but if they have one song that tips a 50-50 over, it's going in here. But for now, we'll put them here. And I should probably put my phone on silent too. Next up is Wiki, Miki, and honestly, I love nearly all of their music, so this will be the first group that goes in love, bops after bop. I don't know the members that well, but I just really like their discography. There's not like a super bad song. I'm trying to think of a bad one right now, but it's just not coming to me. And, if I do remember one, I'll let one in. But for now, I'll put them in love because all of their stuff I really enjoy. So next up is Momoland. Obviously, these girls are my ults, but I have to be real. I don't like their music as much as Wiki Miki's. I love them as girls, so y'all can't go at me. But the thing is for me with Momoland's music, and I think I've said this on like lives and stuff as well, is that I like it, but then sometimes a lot of the songs can get old for me because they are maybe overplayed personally for me, to the point where I'm just like, oh, I don't want to listen to this anymore. So for now, I'm going to put them in like, but what I will say is that Ready or Not is genuinely their best song ever, and Wrap Me in Plastic needs to go. I hate that song. Next up is A-Pink, and honestly, I think A-Pink's discography is pretty flawless, so I will put it in love, but I will say their older music for me is slightly better, but that doesn't mean their newer music is bad. But if it was based off their newer music, I'd probably put it in like, but if it's an all-together thing, I'm putting it in love. Next up is Carisha Chu. I'm sorry, I don't know who that is, but every time I put someone in don't know, feel free to like recommend like songs in the comments, because I love like learning new music, so please do feel free to recommend me some music. ITZY, and I genuinely love ITZY's music. Love it. The only title track I hate, well, hate is a strong word, I don't want to say hate, The only title track I don't like is Not Shy, because I think it's just very one note, and I have really high standards for ITZY since I love all of their other songs, so it didn't reach that same standard for me. But regardless, I love 99% of ITZY's music, so they're going in love. Okay, so next up is Lovelyz. And honestly, I don't know, I'm not really a fan of their music. There might be a song or two that I just haven't discovered that I know that I might like, but out of the stuff I've heard, I don't know, not really digging it. But I will say their performances on Queendom were great, and they're obviously very talented, so you can't hate on them. Next up is Miss Chungha, and I don't know, because the thing is with Chungha is that, like, some of her songs are like god tier to me, like Roller Coaster and why can't I remember the name of it? Stay Tonight. Stay Tonight grew on me so much, by the way. But that's another story. But yeah, Stay Tonight and Roller Coaster are genuinely some of my favorite songs ever. But for overall discography, I'm not that much of a fan, but not to the point where I dislike her music. I don't know, Gotta Go was just kind of there for me, and her recent songs just didn't hit that hard for me. But it's not like they were bad, I just listened to them once and I just said, I don't really want to listen to this again. So I'm going to put it in indifferent, but Roller Coaster will still remain one of my favourite songs ever. But for overall discography, I'm sorry girl. Yeah, I don't know, no. Next up we have AOA. And honestly, I really, really love their music, and I want to put it in, like, the love tier, but, like, and I don't want to sound one of those, like, bandwagon haters, who was like, oh, I hated Jimin all along, because that wasn't really the case, but sometimes Jimin's voice really does ruin the song for me, and even before I found out that she was just an awful person, man, I have just never liked her voice, and her voice really grated to me because of the pitch and the nasal tone in it. So I would have to put them in like for now, because there are just some songs where I just hear Jimin's voice and I'm like, no, just no. It's like crazy, because sometimes I can listen to an artist where, I can kind of separate the fact that I don't like them as a person to their talent. But with Jimin, sometimes, like, I just can't separate it because her voice irritates me so much. Like, even if we never found out that she was an awful person, her voice just grates on me so much to the point where it kind of kills some songs for me. So I'm sorry, but it's not the other girl's fault, is it? No, definitely not. So it's tricky, because I love so many of their songs, but sometimes Jimin's voice annoys me so much. I don't know. We'll leave it in like. We'll just leave that topic behind and move on to the next one. Next up is Daya. And honestly, I heard Woo-Wah, and I think that is such an amazing song. But Woo-Wah is honestly, and don't kill me, Daya fans, don't kill me, is like one of the only songs I know by them. So I don't think it would be fair for me to do, like, a proper judgment on them until I've heard more than, like, 2 songs, the other song being Woo Woo. So I'm going to put them in don't know for now, but again, feel free to recommend some. Next up is Luna! And honestly, if I look at all of the solos, I love them. If I look at them as a group, I don't know, because I love Hi Hi, and I love Why Not, probably my favourite Luna song ever. But I wasn't a big fan of Butterfly and So What. But if I'm including their solos as well, I'll have to put their discography in love, because there's only really like 2 of the solos that I don't really like that much. I'm gonna have to put them in the top tier. Next up is Miss Somi, and she's, as far as I know, only got 2 songs out, but I like both of the songs, so I'll put her in like. Next up is G-Friend, and I honestly think G-Friend, while some of their songs are a bit of a miss, they have a pretty strong discography, so I will put them in love. Next up is He's, and honestly, I think she's very talented, but her type of style of music just isn't really something I personally vibe to, so I'm gonna have to put it in not a fan. but she's very gorgeous and very talented. I think this next one is WJSN. I might be wrong, but I'm gonna judge it as if it is WJSN. Hopefully I'm right. And I like nearly all of the songs I've listened to, with the occasion of one or two, so I will put them in like. So next up is Card, and honestly, there are like two songs that I really, really, really loved by them and I considered myself a fan of. But as an overall look at their discography, I'm a bit indifferent towards it, and there's not really a reason why I'm indifferent towards it. It's just, I'm kind of just, like, there's no reason towards it. I guess it's just my personal taste. I'm a bit indifferent. Next up is Bandit, and I think I've only heard one song by them, and if I'm being completely honest, I just don't remember what the song even sounds like, so I don't think it'd be fair for me to do a proper judgment on them since I just don't remember. So for now, I'm gonna have to put them in don't know, but feel free to recommend some songs. Next up is Ailey, and she's got a pretty good discography. Not my favourite, but I like the majority of her songs, so I am going to put her in like. Next up is Red Velvet, and honestly, there are so many Red Velvet songs that I just think are so bad, and I physically cannot bring myself to listen to them, but they make up for it. Like, every time they have a bad release, they release like 3 good songs like on their album to make up for it. So I probably will put them in love because for some reason, and I don't know why, I've genuinely been listening to Red Velvet B-sides on repeat recently, more specifically from the Russian Roulette mini album. I don't know why, it's just one of my favourite mini albums in K-pop ever, so I will have to put them in love just because of how strong their B-sides are. No matter like how bad I'll dislike a title track, they will always have like 5 B-sides to make up for it, so I have to put them in love. Next up is Oh My Girl, and you know, for most of the songs I've listened to, they have a pretty good discography. Not like, to me, I don't consider their discography golden, but they have some pretty good songs that I have on my playlist, so we will put it in like. Oh, just my screen glitched out for a second though. So next up we have Secret Number, and as far as I'm aware, they only have 2 titles out right now, but don't kill me, but I am not a fan. There's not a specific flaw I can point out with the songs that I've heard, but I just didn't like them, so I'm not a fan. Next up is Weekly, and honestly, After School by Weekly has been on repeat for me for days, and I genuinely am obsessed with that song, but don't shoot me, it's the only Weekly song that I've heard, so I'm gonna have to put them in don't know for now, but I do have to give After School that honorable mention because that song slaps so hard and I'm obsessed with it. Trust me, I will seek out some more Weekly songs after this video, but I can't make a judgment on their entire discography from one song, so to be fair, I'll put them in don't know for now, but I have to just mention how good After School is because, oh, there is crack cocaine in that song. I'm addicted. Next up is April. They've got some pretty decent songs. So for April, it's kind of like for me, like, I'll hear an April song and I'll be like, oh yeah, this is good, not bad at all, but will I put it on my playlist? Probably not, so I'll put them in indifferent. Next up is Gugu Dan, and honestly, I have to put Gugu Dan in love because I pretty much love most of Gugu Dan's title tracks apart from 1 or 2. They've got a pretty good discography. It's just so annoying because right before Gugu Dan disbanded, like from their last comeback, I literally said, oh yeah, I'm gonna stand Gugu Dan in their next comeback, and then they just never came back, and then they disbanded, so that sucks. But you know, I can still treasure their discography. It bops. So is BB, and I just don't know her discography, so I will have to put it in don't know for now. Is G Idol, and honestly, there are some G Idol songs that I think are like god tier, like Señorita and Uh-Oh, but then there are other songs which I'm just kind of like, oh yeah, I can bop to this. So even though I love like 2 songs to the point where I think they are like god tier, for their overall discography, I'm gonna put them in like, where did they go? Oh, there it is. Next up is Everglow, and I think this is kind of the same as, you know, G Idol. It's like there are like some songs where I think are like S tier, but as an overall, not all of their songs are like golden to me, so I'm gonna put them in like. Next up is CLC. They have got a pretty good discography. For me, with CLC, it's not necessarily the same as Everglow, where there's like one or two songs that I think are golden and then the other ones bring it down. I just think like in terms of CLC, like I kind of like all of their songs the same, but not to the point where I love all their songs, if that makes sense. So I'll put them in like. Next up is Dreamcatcher, and I think I would probably say I like 70% of their discography, and I think Scream is like probably their best song ever, but I'm not judging it off one song, I'm judging it over on their overall, so I'm gonna put it in like. Next up is Twice, and I will say I haven't been a fan of their recent releases, being I Can't Stop Me and that Zara Larsson song that I can't remember the name of. But that being said, all of their songs from 2015 to 2018 I think are golden, so I have to put them in the top tier because, you know, you can't knock a bit of Twice, because even though they have a few bad songs, their discography is pretty good, you know what I'm trying to say. Next up is Elris, and I've only heard a few Elris songs and I've kind of been indifferent towards them. So I think I should probably put it in Don't Know, but I have heard like, I don't know, about like 5 Elris songs, so I don't know if I want to put them in Indifferent or Don't Know, because it's kind of like, I want to give them a chance. Maybe I've just missed like, you know, a good song, but I think I will give them a chance and say I don't know for sure about their entire discography, because I don't. So it would be unfair. I don't know what I'm talking about. Next up is Signature, and I'm just kind of like indifferent towards their discography. It's kind of like I love Asa, but their other songs, I'm just kind of like, oh yeah, this song's cool, but again, with like the other artists I'm indifferent to, it's like, you know, not something that's got me busting out my balls. Next up is Laboom. I don't really know Laboom that well, so I'm going to put them in Don't Know. Next up is Hyuna, and I'm going to put her in Love. There are a few songs that I just don't like at all. But overall, I think all of her songs would be like A plus, and then like a few of them would be like a C minus, if that makes sense. So I'm going to have to put her in Love, since like the majority of them are a hit for me. Up is Mamamoo, and I don't think there's a title track I dislike by Mamamoo, so I'll have to put them in Love because, you know, I love all of their title tracks. But I will say, for the majority of their B-sides, and people might kill me for this, I'm a bit indifferent towards their B-sides. So that kind of sucks, but I think their title tracks are amazing, so it is what it is. Next up is Nature, and I've liked nearly all of the Nature songs I've listened to, so I'll put them in like. Next up is Rocket Punch, and honestly, it doesn't really hit that hard to me, their music, so I'll have to put them in indifferent, because I don't necessarily dislike it, but I don't like, you know, bust my balls over it. Next up is Ball 4, and honestly, I love Ball 4. My best friend, Jay, actually got me into Ball 4, and I'm so glad he did, because their music is just so good. Jiyoung's voice, I will say this forever, I think she's got one of the prettiest voices in K-pop ever, and that's just period. Like, one of my favorite voices all time. If you guys have not heard Ball 4, I don't know what y'all are doing, because something about their songs, like, I wouldn't usually like that type of music that they make, but Jiyoung is just so adorable. My best friend, like I said before, Jay, like, he really got me into Ball 4, and he made me watch like a bunch of reality shows that Jiyoung went on, and it just makes me realize how sweet, gorgeous, and adorable she is. And don't get me wrong, Jiyoon is really, really cool too, but I have such a soft spot for Jiyoung. And the thing that broke my heart about Ball 4 is that Jiyoung got so much hate when Jiyoon left. It really sucks. Y'all should read up to it, because Jiyoon felt really traumatized at all of the bullying she was receiving because of Jiyoon's departure, and it wasn't even Jiyoon's fault, you know? So yeah, that sucked. It really, really sucked. But, you know, I went on a tangent. But what I'm trying to say is I really like both Lord's music. Next up is Blackpink, and I'm gonna put them in like for now, because the thing is for me with Blackpink's music is that I will love it on the day like something gets released, but then the more I listen to it, it kind of grows old for me. Not to the point where I dislike it, but I'm just kind of like, my hype dies down for the song, I guess. And you know, I don't know how to explain it, but sometimes when I listen to old songs from, let's say, Twice, I still feel that same hype that I got when I first heard the song. But for Blackpink, I don't know, I kind of lose the love for Blackpink songs the longer they get released, if that makes sense. But I still like their discography and listen to it often. So I'm not making much sense here, but I still like Blackpink. So next up is Red Square. I'm sorry, I don't know who that is, so I will have to put them in Don't Know. Next up is Promise, and I really like their discography. You know what, I'd even say I love their discography. I love it. I love it. Fun and Dugan Dugan, I don't think I said that right, or DKDK, however you want to say it. That song bangs. Those are my two favorite ones. I know y'all didn't ask, but that's my opinion. Next up is Taeyeon, and if y'all already know me, y'all know where I'm putting her, and it's probably a little bit biased since she's my ult, but I genuinely really love all of Taeyeon's songs, so I have to put her in love. Next up is IZ*ONE, and I think I'm gonna put them in like. I want to put them in love, but there are just like a few songs that bring that like average score in my head down. So overall they are like a really strong group, but just because there are like a few songs that I just don't think match their discography, I'm gonna put it down to light. Next up is IU, and I'll probably get hate for this, but I am quite indifferent towards her music, and there's not like a specific reason why. I just don't really dig most of the vibes that she has got going in the majority of her songs, because I think she does kind of, you know, always go for a certain vibe in a lot of her songs. It's not that her songs sound the same, it's just that there's always like a vibe, I guess. And I hate saying the word vibe over and over again, but it's the best way I can say it in my head. A few songs that I think are like S tier, like Good Day and 23. But apart from those two, I'm very indifferent. But, you know, she's so gorgeous and so talented, so it doesn't really matter what I think. But yeah, if I was to judge it just off of Good Day and 23, it would be S tier. But for the entire discography, I'm indifferent. Next up is Busters, and Busters really deserved better. They are sweet girls, lovely girls, but I am not a fan of their music. I'm sorry. They are really cute, and I tried to get into their music, but I just couldn't. I'm sorry. So, I'm sorry, Busters. Oh, what's going on there? What's going on? Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Busters, but it's a no from me. This we got Jessie, and I just want to talk about how good Jessie's discography is. There is only one song that I don't like, and it's Down, but apart from that, her discography is so good. Everything is just like great. Like, she is just so cool. I love Jessie. She's so fierce, cool, sexy. I love her so much, and I'm really glad that she's like getting more popular, and she's like really getting the spotlight recently, and that's just so cool because she deserves it. And she really brings something new to the table in terms of K-pop, you know, because there's never been someone as raw as her, as unfiltered the way she is. And it's really cool. It's really cool. I like Jessie a lot, so I'll put her in love. So the last two are Luna Sola and Wua. I'm just gonna say these two together. I don't know who these guys are, so I'll just put them in the don't know list for now because I don't know them. This is the final list. Obviously, just reminding you guys, this is based off discography only. Yeah, just a quick reminder that this is, you know, a list just based off music only, and you know there will always be a little bit of bias there because I stan Taeyeon and stuff like that. But regardless, I try to look at the music only, all just off of personal tastes, so don't be too mad at it, okay? Like I said throughout the video, feel free to recommend me some songs from the artists in the don't know category because I love finding out new music. And if you guys think that I have missed any, good songs from the not a fan category, feel free to recommend those too. You know, I might change my mind in a couple months, who knows. But that is all from me. Thank you guys for sticking through this video. It means a lot. If you guys want to subscribe, it would mean a lot too. And I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you guys for watching. Bye bye.